Hey folks, if you're on Twitter as much as I am, then you'll probably have seen the "it's 1 month till the end of the decade, what have you accomplished this decade" tweet doing the rounds. Some people have been putting them out all month really, and I thought, I'd make a good video to do one, but being me and being I can't think of the right word, I just generally putting myself down, all this sort of thing, it was actually quite frustrating writing it out, because I was like, oh, I did this, and I thought, nope, that was last decade. Oh, I did this, no, that was last decade. And it took me blooming ages, if I'm honest, but I have got a list, and this is a positive video, and it just made me laugh. And the moral I've learned from even looking through it was half the things people were listing I've already done. So that's not that I've had a bad decade, it's just that they've already, I've already done them, and they've done them now, I did them then. I feel like it's funny that just the line being where it was, I was like, whoa, I got married, I went to uni, I had a kid, and I looked at all that for that all happened in 2009, sorry. 1st of January 2009, Emily was born. So I literally had my kid 11 years ago, and I got married April 2009. I went to uni September 2009. So all of the big things that were like life-changing decisions happened just before this decade started, and the fallout of all of that and the ensuing life that happens after you do them has been my decade. It's been quite funny because when I wrote it out from there, I was like I'm just looking at my notes here, and I'll try not to do it too much, but 2010, I basically just moved to where we live now in Deeping and did year 2 of my degree. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty boring. It was the year that we started getting into podcasting. I remember that what was it we were doing? We'd been kind of dilly-dallying around with Kev. So Kev used to drive me into where I first lived. I lived near the university, and he'd sort of drive past my house and take me the quarter of a mile it was to uni. I really should have just walked it. I'm so lazy, but he used to do that. And so I'd always hear the end of The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast that we both used to listen to a lot. And I think when I moved to Deeping and the journeys in and out seemed longer, I was listening to more of the podcast, and it became we should do one of these. And we come up with the idea for Best Thing From, where we should drive around on our off days trying to find the best things from every county in the UK, which was fantastic fun. But that was basically my year. My whole of, I forgot what year I was on already, 2010, was just like driving around whilst I had a new wife and a new baby that were both growing up and growing up and working and dealing with all of that. So that was basically the kind of theme for most of those years, being at uni, doing podcasts. I got my first in 2012. I am trying to track this again. 2012 I got my first in my IT degree, which is a pretty decent achievement, I'd say. But weirdly, being me, I don't consider it that big of a big deal, and I forget what a big deal it is. Like, plenty of people don't have a degree at all. Plenty of people went to uni and come out with a low degree. But getting any degree is an achievement. But getting a first in a degree, I think I was like number 2 in the damn class, which Kev always laughs at me for saying this, because I even said this, well, this is how negative I am about myself, that we both went into teacher training the next semester after finishing our courses, and we both taught the same class on a shared timetable. And I mentioned to them that I'd got like the second highest grade in my class, and they asked me who got the highest, and I said, oh, it was Mr. Chapman. And even they were like, why did you tell us that? Just lie. Just tell us you got the best grade. Just don't bring it up. Now we all know he's cleverer than you. And I was like, he's not cleverer than me. He just got a higher grade than I did. And they were just like, And he was just like, why did you do yourself down? But yeah, 2013, 2012-13, we were doing our teacher training together. We did that. I got the highest grade on that one, but realised it just doesn't matter. No one cared. Qualified to be a teacher, which is a massive deal. Again, it was what I thought would be the realisation of a lifelong plan. Basically, when I was younger, my whole I always saw my life in kind of, I don't know, let's say a 4 quadrants of meeting someone and getting married, having kids, getting the right job, buying the right house. That was kind of my 4 aims that I wanted to sort out. And before this decade had started, I'd got the wife and kid down, which is the really bizarre order, because you always assume you'd do it like get the job, get the house, get the partner, get the kid, or get the partner, house, then the kid. The kid should come last, really, in the ideal plan, so you're always raised to believe. But I actually did it, kid, wife, job, house. Yeah, so didn't have anywhere to put them when I got them, but that's the way I did it, which I feel worked out all right, because I Claire and I were already together when we obviously and planning to get married and engaged and everything when we had Emily. It wasn't like the other way around type thing. Not that that's too much information anyway, but like, because I was at uni, it made that so much easier. I had so much more time to spend with her. I think with Ben and with Ollie, it's been a lot more. I've got to balance work around them. I don't see them as much. And, when I do get to see them, it's more shocking and special and different. Whereas I saw Emily every day, and it was really nice just growing up with her growing up with us. I can't get this the right way around. And it was just nice having her there as a baby all the time. And I'd go on my adventures. That'd be the only time that I wasn't around, that kind of thing. So 2012 with the teaching was also the year Ollie turned up. Bless him. He turned up right as I was starting my teacher training, and that is a very, very difficult time to be having a newborn child and a really demanding job. But I did all right. As I say, I got the highest grade in the class. It was very good. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. It really changed the way I thought about learning and doing essays and achieving things. It's like I suddenly understood the matrix that I was in and was like, right, now I can start manipulating it to get in the top marks. It'd say, this is what you need to do to get a top mark. And I'd be like, boom, done it. I understand it. And I'd be trying to explain it to people and they'd be like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, eventually you will, I guess. I don't really, it's hard. But yeah, it's ironic that a teacher couldn't explain to another teacher, but still. Finishing that, I went and, again, thought I was realising my ambition to become a teacher, do that as a job full time. I didn't do very well at it. It wasn't the right fit for the school. I was very, very unhappy in there. I left that job, was straight on like antidepressants and all sorts. I'm very lucky in that I kind of bumbled into the job I have now, which I've had for over 5 years, and it was pure coincidence. I've said this before, but I walked out of teaching, I was on my way home, and I put a tweet out saying, I've just left my job. If anyone's got anything they can recommend me apply to, meaning schools, let me know, because I'm kind of at a loose end now. Like, this was my career choice, and I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. My friend was like, just come over our place, we've just opened an office, you can come work with us. So I sort of said I'll have a week off first because I was a mess, and then I went in and I've just never left, and I sort of just keep moving up there, doing new things there. I'm just about to get the official title of business and marketing coordinator, which is a lot different to what I've been doing previously to now, and I'm excited about that because that means lots of new learning and new cool stuff. So I feel like I perfectly squared off that quadrant of my aims. I had 2 kids at this point. Everything started to go all right, but weirdly, this was 2015. I said to Claire, what do we do in 2015? I've got nothing. I was looking through it. I made notes. Left my job, started my new job, teaching was done, all of that. 2014, Kev and I started We're From the Internet, which was our podcast where we basically did 10 minutes every morning talking about a random topic. The only thing Claire could find for the whole of 2015 when we looked through both our Facebooks was that early 2015 we were in the newspaper. It said something like podcast pair dominate iTunes chart, and it was a picture of me holding up a phone with We're From the Internet on it as a logo, and it said that we'd got to whatever number in the iTunes like top 100, and that is a big deal. It is that is awesome. I forgot about that, which is terrible, because again, I'm really blasé about stuff we've done that's good. But I was like, oh yeah, cool. So I'm like, 2015, appeared in newspaper. That's literally it. We did nothing that year. I was like, did we go on holiday that year? We did not. We didn't move house that year. We didn't have any kids that year. I didn't change jobs that year. I literally just sat around on my antidepressants, getting better. I got better that year. It was 2016 I stopped taking them, but 2015 was a kind of, I went into a cocoon and slept, really, other than appearing in a newspaper once. But that podcast was awesome. I've been trying to poke Kev to consider doing that again in future. He hasn't got time. He's never got time, bless him. But reading about it again, I was like, that was good. We got in the paper with it. We should have been doing it. But yeah, anyway, 2016 I bought a house, so that completed the quadrant. That was the final piece. It's one of those things where everyone I know is really split on whether or not that is the thing you should do. Like, half the people I know are kind of like, no, renting's better, or it's better to buy houses and rent them out and then make the money off of them. And other people are like, no, buy a house, you pay it off, and then you're sorted. You don't have that bill. The way I see it, I won't have this bill in like 25 years or whatever it is. I'm hoping that something will happen in life that means I can pay it off sooner. But my thought process is, once this is paid off, I don't have the whatever it is a month that we have to pay for a mortgage. I think I know, but off the top of my head, I can't remember the exact number. That's how I meant to. I do know, but still, once that's gone, it's gone. That's a number that I don't have to think about, and it's sorted. And then everyone says house prices are going to go down. Buying a house was quite fun until everyone started putting in their theories and thoughts on it, and I'm very much like, I don't know whether it was the right or wrong decision. The way I see it, eventually I won't have to pay rent or mortgage anymore, and that is good enough of a reason to pay it forward and sort it out. If I didn't, I'd need to, once I got to 65, I'd still need to continue paying rent. I know that in someone like Kev's scenario, he said, well, actually, he plans on still having an income from the various things he's created over the years so that it won't matter for him. But I kind of think, why not both? I could do that too. I could have that income coming in whilst I don't have the cost of a house. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's what my parents did. It did them all right. I don't, I'm okay with it. It just means that right now it was. No, well, I was say it's hard. It's not hard at all, really. It just means we had the faff of finding the initial money to do it. But it was a big step. It was a cool step. As I say, it meant that I'd done what I'd set out to do, which is a very weird feeling to have, because then you're like, well, what do I do now? I've got them sorted. So once we were in the house, we had a third kid, which was awesome. It is awesome. It's great. Loving it. It's different from the other two. I think this is the one we've had where everything's established. We've got a job. We've got a house. Everything's settled. Nothing's getting shook about all the time by me suddenly leaving my career behind, or having to make ends meet as a student, or whatever it is. We're just getting on with it. We're sending him to childcare when it suits us. We're spending the time with him when it suits us. It's simple. It's kind of like when I said you do that last, we've done that last with him. I feel like each kid has been at a different part of the quadrant, and it's had a different effect on them as they've gone by. So yeah, this has been fine. Nothing else happened. I'm like, that is terrible. I looked at it and I was like, last year Ben was 1, the kids were like 5-ish and 9-ish, I think 10-ish. And I'd always said when Emily was little that before she was too old to realise they were people in costumes, I wanted to take her to Disneyland. And so last year I just decided, in about January, February, I was like, damn it, we're doing it. I don't care. I'd kind of thought, I've done everything I want to do. I was a little bit downbeat about the fact I didn't know what else I needed to do or wanted to do. And I felt like I'd just got over a lot of things and trouble and nonsense, and it was a bit clear. And I just thought, I'm going to go to Disneyland because I want to. And so we did go over there, and it was brilliant. But within a couple of days of being there, Emily said to me, I bet they're right in that costume. And I definitely felt my heart sink a little bit that she knew they were just people in costumes, and had underestimated how clever she was, or how grown up she was. I mean, it's not about being clever. Ollie thought everything was real. He was like, is that really Nemo? Is that really Dory? Is that really Snow White? And I'm like, yeah, of course it is, of course it is. He was loving it, he adored it, and Ben just rolled with it. But I feel like we probably won't be able to go back before Ollie's too old to get it. To realise that they're not real. And I fear that if we went back, well, Ben wasn't, but Ollie was, he'd probably tell him. I dread the time when Ollie knows all the things that are and aren't real and shares that information, because I don't think he'll be able to keep it quiet, even if we bribe him to. But we'll see what happens. So this year, I was looking through, actually last year I started YouTube as well, so you lot watching me rabbit on about this. You know me, I don't have any kind of idea of what I'm doing with it. I just come up with ideas every now and again. I'll do a video like this, and then panic myself, like this video where I spent all morning going, oh my God, my life has been so empty, and then thinking, well, it hasn't been empty, you just don't know how to play up the things you've done. But this year, since doing that, you've seen it all, really, and that's not to say nothing happened, but there hasn't been any major milestones. I feel like all the noteworthy milestones have happened to other people, like the weddings and the having kids and the stuff, but I've done that, so I'm kind of in that middle boring period where I have to make the adventures happen. And we do have fun, and I do have nice things happen. I've been involved in some big stuff at work where we won. We didn't win yesterday's award. I'm really gutted. I should have said that at the start. I say really, I'm disappointed. We did really well. The people who won it deserved it. They are massive and they are good. And let's hope that one day we're as big as them as a company. But you know, we thought we had a good chance. We also thought they wouldn't win 2 years in a row, so that was our kind of justification for thinking we had a chance. But they were just big and good, and yeah. But last year we won an award, and a lot of it involved stuff I'd written. And last night there was a booklet. I did the questions, the A-list questionnaire I did on a vlog the other week. They had the answers from a boss in there that we wrote together. So he'd written some of the more personal ones, some of them, how would you describe this, or how would you talk about that? I'd written some what I considered to be really good answers, and my bosses said they were really good answers, and I showed them to Claire, they were really good answers. So I'm proud of that, and I feel like that's something that I haven't really mentioned throughout. Like, I'm talking about my decade, and I've left out the fact that, and do you know what, Kev did this as well. He mentioned on Twitter that he'd released one book. He's released 7 books this decade. I've released 6. So I'm a bit miffed that he left out the 6 that I worked on with him. But I do get it. He doesn't think they were particularly great. But actually, when I was looking at the decade, I found some messages people had sent us where someone was saying that some of the bits in the stories, one woman said she like nearly wet herself laughing at one of the scenes we'd written in one of our books. Yeah, the reviews we had on Amazon were fantastic. The stuff that we had from most people, I mean, I think only one person said they're not the best written, but he was like, they're not the best written, but my dad thinks you're legends. He was like, you're one of my dad's like literary heroes now. I think he only reads like 2-3 authors or something like that, they'd said, and we were one of his favourites now, even though they weren't that good. And I thought, well, I'll take that. We were novice writers. We took a punt. We wrote some books. It worked really well. You know, we got to number, like, I think it was number 2 in the Amazon free charts on one of the books. We overtook the Bible for like an afternoon, but I don't think we made number 1, which isn't, again, I'm not saying that in like a wah kind of way. I'm saying it like a, you know, we got to number 2 in the free charts, which means I didn't make any money out of it, but it still needed the volume of people to download it that did download it, and that's cool. If anything, I feel like reading through this and looking through this, I've not capitalised on anything, because Kev made a point that according to Chartable, which tracks all of the podcasts across the world on all the different charts, blah, 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 we released Mature Gamer, the 14th best podcast of all time, under like gaming, I mean, but that's out of hundreds of video game podcasts. I mean, you can't move for gaming podcasts on there. Everyone's got a gaming podcast, and the ones above us are like IGN and Kotaku and Big Red Barrel and all these ones that are connected to a website that makes loads of money and runs stuff, and we're just there sat in our kitchens over poor Wi-Fi talking into poor microphones, and we're there. And I'm thinking, damn it, we didn't capitalise on that. We didn't capitalise on the books. I need to capitalise on stuff, and I don't know how to. I don't know what I'm doing. But I need to do it better and more of it. I don't know. I feel bizarre having done it. It's for everyone else, it was a throwaway tweet where they just went, "Huh, yeah, I've had a busy 10 years." For me, it's been like a, oh my god, like I did quite a lot of cool stuff, and I didn't really have. I don't know. I don't really feel like it changed very much, and I guess maybe it doesn't for anyone. I don't know, but. I feel like I need to do more stuff, and I'm excited thinking the next 10 years are pretty much clear, because the most dominant thing for our past year has been, you know, one of our little clan of 5 has obviously had to be going through his diagnosis process, and we've been trying to get our heads around what to do to make his life right. And whilst I know I did a video yesterday about how it's up in the air a bit again, I do feel like we're coming to the sort of point of that where it should be framed and it's there and we know what we're doing. You know, family get it now, friends get it now, school get it, they're ringing me in a different way now. You know, that seems to be sorted. It's just, yeah, another 10 years. We need to just get him to 18, which will be 11 years to be precise. But it's just interesting. It's just thinking, like, I'm glad the question wasn't what are you going to do in the next 10 years, because I keep saying I need to finish my books and write, but I've not touched my books in a little while. I feel a little bit lost with that. I know what I want to write, I just feel a bit off. I wish I knew what the answer was. I wish I knew what to do to make myself go, click, it's sorted, let's crack on. Maybe I just need to lock myself in a room until I've figured it out and have an epiphany. That's what I'm always lacking, and I always say that. And I hate saying, because I feel like I say that every month on this vlog, but I am just bumbling along waiting for an epiphany to help me straighten out my thoughts. But yeah, it's been a good decade. I feel like if I was comparing it to the last decade, it's ass rammed really. I mean, I guess I the end of last decade, I'd met Claire. I'd been to uni and failed at uni. I'd quit uni in that decade as well. I mean, I passed uni the second time, but I'd done badly at uni previously. You know, I'd had different jobs and I bumbled around trying to figure out what I was doing. And by the end of last decade, I feel like I'd figured it out. So it does go to show 10 years is a lot of time, and in 10 years' time, I could be saying, I'd like to think I'd be doing a vlog in a much bigger scenario, going, wow, I can't believe I upgraded to an even bigger house, and I can't believe that now I'm doing this, and my job's suddenly a lot higher at work and all of that. But yeah, I'd love to think I'd still be there in 10 years, just on a much bigger scale. I'd be mortified if I was still looking like this, doing this on a camera, on my phone, with pretty much the same job title and all of that. That's not in my plan. I just need to do more, bigger, and hopefully that'll be that. Let me know in the comments if you've done one of those tweets. Put your version of it. So basically, it just says, where is it? I've got it written in front of me. There's only 1 month left in the decade. What have you accomplished? Where have you accomplished? And people just list it. So put it in there. Let me know. I want to see. I want to just see what cool things people put in there. I'm sure there'll be some cool stories as well, so pop them in. I like reading them. But yeah, I need to be more like Kev. I don't want to hear me say that. I just threw my book thinking it would land, and it's just bounced back at me. Because he just put, done one of the best gaming podcasts in the UK, got engaged, become a massive YouTuber. Well, he's a massive YouTuber, become a YouTuber full time. You know, his are just headline, boom, everything's awesome. Mine were like, oh, I got to number 2 in the charts. And it's like, ugh, stop being such a wimp. But yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry it's 22 minutes of your time here. I hope you've found it entertaining. Let me know in the comments. Give it a like if you did like it. Subscribe if you don't already, because that number helps me feel like it's progressing. I don't know, it sounds silly, but if it starts going down, then I start worrying that I've not been doing good enough. And I mean, if I'm not doing good enough, let me know, because that'd be useful information. I'm happy to take negative criticisms and work on them, unless it's about where I'm filming, because I'm screwed on that. The family wouldn't get out of the living room. But yeah, hope you're all well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on... I'm going to do a video for Monday, but I won't talk again till Tuesday, because Monday's Claire's birthday, and I feel it'd be a bit rude if I just disappeared to record for a bit. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. Have a great weekend. Cheers.